Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Browns Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, aka Grizzer, and we are back in the Browns Latest studio. We have left the Shedeurs in Florida. That's where I've been. Family vacation, and timing is everything, right? So we planned his family vacation. Weeks and weeks ago, and of course, it was during the first week of training camp. I told my wife that would happen, and it did. But no, we made it. I think we held our own with the. I mean, you could get it. I have a lot of good sources, and so we were able to pull it off. We broke 7,000 while we were down there. Had our first live guest, and so we got a lot done. And we had a lot of fun as well. Thank you to everyone who has liked our previous episodes and who has subscribed to the channel. Got a lot of compliments on the bucket hat the other day when I changed a fit to celebrate 7,000. And to all of you who get your comments in the viewer comment section. Now, coming up on today's show, another off day today, but Saturday's morning session in Berea reveals more drama in the quarterback battle. Also, what should be the biggest week of training camp for our rookie quarterbacks starts with a ton of concerns. How about this? Even though Martin Emerson Jr. is down and out for the season with that torn Achilles, there's another member of the secondary who is now taking on a leadership role. And in the viewer comments, what one viewer says, the Browns can easily ride all the way to the Super Bowl. But first things first, let's get the stage set, because this is a big week, folks. We got our first, even though there's no practice today, we got our first preseason game and joint practices this week. Now, before we get to that, though, Monday, tomorrow, I'll be there. I'm going to check out practice tomorrow. They'll practice at 2. Stefanski's available at 1:30. You'll also hear from Tommy Reese and Jim Schwartz, Bubba Ventrone, and some players. But everybody's going to be wondering about somebody's arm. One of our quarterback's arms. We'll get to that in a minute. Tuesday, they'll be traveling to Carolina for that first joint practice on Wednesday. And this is the prelude to that first preseason game on Friday night. See, they'll play at 7 p.m. and then they'll play on the 16th at the Eagles. Also, joint practices will lead up to that game at 1 p.m. on the 16th, and then the 23rd, the last preseason game. The Rams will come here to the shores of Lake Erie for a 1 o'clock battle with the Brownies. But let's get you caught up on some of the things that happened yesterday. Greg Newsome not practicing, Myles Garrett not practicing, just precautionary stuff. But Kenny Pickett was back, and he talked about the hamstring, and he said that it's probably going to bug him for a few more weeks. He is like hamstrings and calves, man. Like, I've had them both when I played football, and they are touchy. Like, once you tweak it, any one little thing can just set it off again. And so he did not take part in team drills again yesterday. And he says that even when he starts doing stuff, he's going to be limited to just pocket passes. He's not allowed to use his mobility, which is what he's been relying on so far through training camp. But, he's back out there. Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel got all of the reps yesterday. Everybody was wondering, what's going on with Shedeur? What's going on with Shedeur? And we found out at the end of practice that he was held out of team drills because of arm soreness. Now, we're gonna break this down here in just a couple of seconds, but we got to give Flacco his flowers. The offense, the defense just dominated the day yesterday. It was Flacco and Gabriel. And, Gage Larvidan is having a great camp. Deontay Johnson had another good day. So those are great things to hear. Flacco hit Larvidan on a beautiful pass in the corner of the end zone. So Flacco's, he's still got something in the tank. And I think he's using a little bit more of it right now than he intended with Pickett out, and now Shedeur not taking any reps. Gabriel, looked rough again. We'll have more on that too in a minute. But back to Shedeur now. So Shedeur has this arm soreness, and right away I'm like, oh boy. Here's the tracker. Flacco went 11 for 18 with a touchdown, and then Gabriel there 11 for 22 with a touchdown. So Gabriel's getting a lot of work, but if you saw those reels, those compilations that keep coming out, I mean, Gabriel, it's looking rough. But back to Shedeur. So he's got this arm soreness, and I mean, this is just the start of our concerns for the rookie quarterbacks. Like, I mean, this is supposed to be their time to shine. This preseason game is coming up, and Shedeur comes up now with this sore arm. So he tells them during individuals that his arm hurts, so they immediately pull him out of team drills. They say, okay, well, you're not throwing today. And every single rep he misses, just his chances at QB1 just go. We said the same thing about Pickett. The more times he's just decreasing his chances at QB1, and so it makes me wonder: is that why he didn't do team drills on Friday? Shedeur, was his arm hurting him on Friday, and he only did the 7-on-7 goal line drills? So maybe this started on Friday. The other thing that I started wondering is we kept seeing him out there early. We keep seeing him staying late, throwing extra. I mean, it's like a baseball pitcher, folks. You can only throw so much before your arm starts hurting. And so you want, and all he was doing what he was supposed to be doing, right? He's getting the extra work in, even when, and we saw those videos in the summer break, he's down there in Miami throwing. And, here's the thing. I want to break this down for you because in a previous life, I produced and reported on a show called Sports Health with Cleveland Clinic. We did a lot, and we worked with the Browns, as a matter of fact. And back then they were the Indians. We did a lot of stories, health, sports-related stories with both of the teams. And so, to say, like, let me finish the thought. Sanders at practice. After he was done with practice, he didn't throw it all, but he did go over and run with the receivers and tight ends. He was doing some side-to-sideline sprinting, and then as he was running off the field, he yelled, "I'm good." So for what that's worth. But here's the thing with the sore arm, folks. I did some research, and this took me back to my clinic days when I was doing these sports health stories. And overuse injuries. I've done several stories on overuse injuries, and these are just the common. I'm not saying this is anything that Shedeur has. I am not saying that. This is not speculation. These are just some of the things that cause arm soreness in rookie quarterbacks in their first year in the NFL. They're going through their first training camp. I pinpointed it to training camp. And so, rookie quarterbacks are typically transitioning from a lower volume of throwing in college to a much higher volume in NFL training camp, which includes practices and scrimmages, which we haven't even got to the scrimmages yet. This sudden increase can overload muscles and tendons in the throwing arm, which leads to soreness. The other thing, improper throwing mechanics. Now you say, what do you mean? He's got the most accurate quarterback coming out of college. I know, but rookie quarterbacks a lot of times refine their mechanics, and then flaws become apparent under high-volume training, which can contribute to soreness. The other thing, muscle fatigue and microscopic tears. Not saying there's anything torn. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying these are some of the common causes. The repetitive throwing, especially at high intensity, leads to muscle fatigues and could lead to microscopic tears. They could heal on their own. This is a natural part of muscle adaptation. It's you're putting more on your muscle, and that's how your muscle gets stronger. But it causes soreness. Rotator cuff strain. Overusing the rotator cuff muscles or improper mechanics can also strain these. These are all pitching related things too, folks. I pitched in college. Tendonitis. I went through tendonitis. If it's tendonitis, Tendinitis doesn't play around. I used to think when I was younger, I was like, why are these guys sitting out for tendinitis? What is that? Like, come on, suck it up, get out there. And then it happened to me, and I was like, okay, I get it now. It hurts. Tendinitis is no joke. But then there's also, not giving yourself, lack of adequate recovery, not giving your muscles enough time to recover. And I had a long talk with a physical therapist back in my clinic days about this, as a matter of fact. And he told me, as important as it is to strengthen your muscles, it's equally as important to rest. But here we are in training camp, and we've mentioned this a few times, folks. We don't have the time. Like this is, we got a 4-week process essentially to find our QB1. And now one of them has been out all week. Now we got one of the rookie quarterbacks out. Dylan Gabriel. We're gonna start talking about him and give me 10 seconds to wrap this up. There's no time. So he's throwing and throwing. He's doing as much as he can. We don't even know how much he's throwing behind closed doors. There's a lot of things going on behind closed doors, meetings and all kinds of things that we don't even know about. Bottom line is his arm's sore now. They had the off day today, so hopefully that helps. Tomorrow's going to be telling. If he's not out there tomorrow, his chances are just, because we're running out of time. We're already this is the last public practice already tomorrow, and we're into the preseason games. That's where he's supposed to be getting all of his activity. I don't know. Maybe he's got enough under his belt. Maybe he can, get a couple days off the field, and still keep up with everything and get out there on Friday night. That's all you can hope. And Kenny Pickett's trying to do the same thing. So this 4-man quarterback battle is down to 2, just like that. That's how quickly things change, folks. I've been telling you that. Now, Dylan Gabriel, as much as Shedeur can't get, Shedeur's off the field with the sore arm. Dylan Gabriel's on the field. And man, oh man. And I'll give credit to the defense. Don't get me. This is with Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett over there and everything. Like, these guys are doing exactly. You got Mason Graham and Schlesinger added to this defense. Greg Newsome, although he didn't practice yesterday, crafty veteran. We're going to be talking about another guy too coming up here in a minute. But this defense is giving them everything they've got right now, and it's some of you look at these compilations. It's not all bad for Gabriel. I'm going to give him, he does some good things, but he's up. Honestly, it looks like the middle school quarterback is playing against the varsity high school defense sometimes, just because he's just overwhelmed. He's overmatched. They're in the backfield all day. Like, he doesn't even have a chance to do anything. And so, and you see even Flacco struggling a little bit, but this defense is coming together, and we've been saying it now for about the last week. The defenses are always ahead of the offenses in this, especially because you got guys that are learning the offense. This defense, everybody's essentially back. You added a couple of stud rookies, but everybody's back. They know what they're doing, and they're just building on everything they've been doing the last 2 years. So the defense is far ahead of the offense. Stefanski's, reinstalling his offense, and you got key guys that need to learn. Deontay Johnson, Sampson, Ford. He's got to, they got to jog his memory on the Stefanski offense. So the linemen are still trying to get it together. You got DeJuan Jones over there at left tackle. So there's a lot of things still coming together on the offense, but the defense, man, the defense is balling out right now. So speaking of the defense, one of the guys who, he is just taking on a leadership role. It's Mr. Grant Delpit. And this is a guy, you talk about a guy who started off injury prone. Like, he had a bad injury. Remember, he missed most of his rookie season, and then he struggled his second year. Finally, it's finally starting to come together. And he's now, it's hard to believe, but Delpit he's entering his 5th year already. But listen to what he said. He gives Rodney McLeod Jr. a lot of credit for helping him grow into this leadership road. He said McLeod definitely helped me kind of mature as a player the last 2 years he was here. He said he was so he kind of prepared me for this role that I'm in right now. I'm always ready to lead the room and really take it on my shoulders. So I'm excited to be that guy on the defense and take everybody with me. And Delpit is coming off his second 100 plus tackle season of his career last year. And so, but the one thing that and we've heard this a lot. We heard this a lot from Denzel Ward too. Is he wants to improve his takeaways, and so. He's really working on that, and what he said he went back to his Arizona days. He's been watching a lot of film now, heading into this season, and because he wants to increase his interception total. And so we've heard Denzel Ward say, remember, he wants to turn PBUs into INTs. Those pass breakups, they need to become picks. They need to become turnovers. And so, and Delpit saying the same thing on the backside of the D. So. Good to hear, even though we lost Martin Emerson Jr., we've got Grant Delpit stepping up, and he's doing a great job. He's doing a great job out there in Berea so far, and I will get a look at him firsthand tomorrow. Now, one thing that's always in a lead role, and you already know this, the viewer comments. And we'll start today with By Grace Beauty, who says, the owner, meaning Jimmy Haslam, remember we talked about Jimmy Haslam yesterday, and what he said about Shedeur, and what he said and what he meant were two completely different things. But anyway, he says, By Grace Beauty says, the owner had to distance himself to stay in good standing with the billionaire board. He's still in the hot seat for Deshaun. Now, there's a big part of me that says you're not wrong. but Haslam did come out and admit, he's already admitted it was a big swing and a miss. The whole Deshaun thing is a complete debacle. He's already said that. That's why Deshaun will never, ever take another snap for this team again. But, yeah, hard for me to completely disagree with that. But Haslam already has fallen on the sword on that one. Sean McCarthy says, all this energy being put into Gabriel makes no sense. Well, here's the thing. Well, one, he's getting all the, now he's getting all the reps because there's nobody else left to take him. Old man, Flacco is out there. He thought he was going to be taking like 3 or 4 a practice, and now he's out there, getting double-digit reps every single practice, which I don't know if he expected to do all that. He figured Kenny Pickett would have been helping him out, and the rookies, But here's what I'll say about the Gabriel thing. Barry and Stefanski have to prove themselves right. Remember when they took them in the 3rd round, and we talked about how this is such a Browns thing to do. They're always the smartest people in the room. They zig when everybody else is zagging. And, and honestly, you could say the same thing about Shedeur. Everybody was zigging, going away from him, and they zagged right into him. When he got to the 5th round, they're like, we're not letting this go by us now. Like, are you kidding me? We've got everything else taken care of. There's no way we're letting this go by. Trade those picks, get in front of Philly, and get them. So they made the trade with Seattle, and they got them. And so, and that, it works both ways. But that's what I think with, now he's getting the reps out of necessity. But, leading up to that, they're forcing him in there because they got to prove themselves right. They got to prove to the entire world that it made sense to take him in the 3rd round. Done. And we'll end today with Teresa McMurray, who says, haha, the hat looks funny. So I like the bucket hat, I had to change up the fit. We got the 7,000 subscribers, but her comment, it reminds me of I appreciate all the comments. I thank you for all the congratulations on the 7,000 subscribers. But the hat thing reminds me, if you ever saw Uncle Buck when he goes to the party, he's looking for, his niece at the party, and the parents see him with the hat on, and they're like, don't go in there with that hat on, they'll kill you. I kind of had a moment like that yesterday before I recorded the show. I was like, man, should I wear the hat? If I go in there with that hat on, they might kill me. But nope, you guys like the hat. I'm glad. So it all worked out, boy. I told my wife, I know we're going to hit 7,000 when we're in Florida, and we did. But we're back. We're back in the friendly confines. We're back in the studio. Hope you enjoyed the Shedeurs one more time. But it is go time now, folks. We got preseason game this week, and we've got joint practices, and we will be there tomorrow in person, and it'll be interesting to see what I see. I will share it all with you come Monday. All right, that'll do it for today's show. Thanks so much for watching. Go Browns. We'll see you next time.